So President Biden, for the past several days, has been in Europe at the G7 summit, the NATO summit, and essentially, his goal with this trip was to sort of reassure traditional allies of the U.S. that America can be counted on as a partner, that America is ready to sort of return to the forefront as a world leader on foreign policy and international issues. And it was really just sort of, every day was just sort of a very clear contrast that President Biden was trying to make from the 4 years of the Trump administration, which was obviously focused on, this America First doctrine. President Trump, he would go to the G7 or NATO and he would criticize allies. He would complain that allies weren't contributing enough to NATO, that it wasn't doing enough for the US. And he would sort of, spar with these G7 leaders at these summits. So it was a very different tone and tenor with President Biden there. And, he made a point to say repeatedly almost every day, America's back at the table. At one point, somebody asked President Biden if allies felt like America was back, and he deferred to the president of France, who agreed that America was, back, taking a leading role. So I think President Biden sort of accomplished what he set out to accomplish, which was just to sort of restore confidence and restore trust and make a point to show that the U.S. would be committed to these traditional allies again. Former President Trump is obviously, he weighs in with sort of increasing frequency these days. And he and some of his loyal supporters have sort of, chided Biden and tried to weigh in to suggest that somehow the Biden administration is making America look weak by not, being sort of this big, putting America first essentially and putting its priorities first and sort of shrugging off the need for these alliances. So former President Trump and his allies have sort of put out these statements saying, NATO still needs to do more, and why is President Biden sort of, appeasing NATO and these allies. So I think, some of the former president's supporters are doing their best to sort of essentially suggest that Biden isn't doing enough for the U.S. When he talks about the importance of these allies and how the U.S. will do X, Y, and Z to help these allies. The former president and his supporters are going to argue that, well, he's not putting America first. So does that mean, he's prioritizing these other countries? So that's sort of the angle they've taken. Now, President Biden did get some support from Republicans, especially with his agreement to donate 500 million vaccine doses to the world vaccination effort. And that was part of a G7 agreement to sort of help vaccinate the world against the coronavirus. So there are sort of policy steps that President Biden has taken that I think are going to win him some praise from Republicans. But certainly the former president is not going to be one of them. And he's going to sort of continue to sort of trumpet this America First policy.